Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with the first two episodes of Big City Greens. So, why two episodes, you may be wondering at? Well, because the website I use to get these has them split up into two episodes each, at least for season one I saw. So each, download is going to be two episodes, but the episodes are half length. They're about 11 minutes long. So 22 minutes for a full two episodes, so that's fine. Two episodes is still like normal length for one episode of something else. So that's completely fine. So Big City Greens. You may be surprised that I'm getting to this already, but even though I just finished Dead End yesterday, I want to get to this now because honestly, I just want to get to it. I just want to check this out. You may remember back in October, I reacted to some broken karaoke videos, and the one that was kind of the catalyst to reacting to the others was the Ways We Feel Anxious one, which featured Libby Stein-Torres from Ghost of Molly McGee, Candace Flynn from Phineas and Ferb, we had Marcy Wu from Amphibia, and we had Gloria Sato from Big City Greens. And when I recorded that, obviously, she was the only one I didn't know. I knew who the others were, and honestly, it's like I was interested. I've seen the art style and everything of Big City Greens before, but seeing it kind of in motion there, with her character design and everything, and well, even finding out a little bit about her character right off the bat is kind of what got me more interested in checking this out. I was always kind of vaguely interested, but not as much as like other shows. But that was kind of the clincher for me, seeing that video. And since that point, I've watched it many more times. I've seen that video a lot, and it's great. It's really enjoyable. It's a catchy song, obviously a parody cover of Ways to Be Wicked from Descendants 2, I believe. And yeah, it's just really cool. It's really enjoyable. But I was interested. So we do find out who Gloria Sato is in that video, at least to a degree. She moved to Big City to be an artist and a poet, but ended up working at a coffee shop instead as a barista, which she clearly is not happy with. We also can see through the video that she is an anxious character, that she tends to worry a lot and tends to be a really nervous bean, that kind of character, which very fitting considering she works at a coffee shop to call her a bean. But it's like, you know that I like those kind of characters. If you've seen my reactions to pretty much anything, I enjoy the kind of anxious being archetype that has become a lot more prevalent in media. Like, there's even a character like that in Chainsaw Man with Kobeni. So it's like, yeah, this is it's just actually an archetype of character that exists nowadays. And I like that type. I like that archetype. It's a great type. So seeing it got me interested. And, I don't really know anything else about the character. I just know her name and what was said in that video. I don't know too much else about this series either. As I said when I first announced it in, the Dead End video, I believe, but I'm not 100% on this, but I believe it has a similar vibe to the Beverly Hillbillies. For those who may not know, for those who may not be old enough to know, I only know because I have watched a lot of older stuff. The Beverly Hillbillies was a series, a classic TV series, and I think it got a couple movies actually, about a lower class Southern family who suddenly comes into a shit ton of money. I don't remember if it's inherited or like they win the lottery or something. I don't remember the exact way they come into the money, but they come into the money and move to the city, move to Beverly Hills. It's kind of like a fish out of water story, rags to riches story, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, a lot of the humor in it is okay, you have these quote unquote hillbillies, which, by the way, is just a mean term nowadays. It was a mean term back then, but now it's more commonly accepted that it's mean. But a lot of the humor was them interacting with a more polished kind of world. And there's been other shows that have done a similar thing to that too. Even Fresh Prince of Bel Air was kind of similar to that. Because you have someone from the streets of Philadelphia going to Bel Air and, having to interact with all the rich people and just a completely different way of life. Though it's not as drastic in that, I feel. I feel it was more drastic in Beverly Hillbillies. But I feel like that's the same kind of thing from the tiny bit I may know about this. And I don't even know how accurate that of a comparison that is. But I believe it's about a family, like a lower class Southern family who moved to the big city. I believe that's the basic idea behind it. But I might be off. I might be off. So that's pretty much everything I know. When I looked at the information last time, I saw some of the voice actors who had it, but I didn't recognize the names offhand. So maybe we'll see that. Maybe we'll start recognizing the voices by the voices as we watch. Um, and like I said, the art style is something that just didn't entirely speak to me at first. But seeing it in motion in that video, the Ways We Feel Anxious video, definitely helped. Because the art style is very unique. Like, you have something like Amphibia or Owl House where it's like the human characters at least look human. But here, it's like you have human characters, but they're multicolored and weird shapes and everything. Some of them don't have noses. In fact, do any of them have noses? I don't even know. I've only seen a few character designs, but um, it's definitely a different vibe to it. But that might help with the style of humor it goes with, too. I don't know. I don't know how serious of a show this gets, like, compared to stuff like Owl House or Amphibia. Probably not as serious as those shows because, honestly, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this series comparatively. I've honestly heard more people talk about Ghost and Molly McGee, which, I mean, great, I love that series, but this one I've only heard, like, vague mentions of here and there, and, I mean, that helps with the fact that I haven't heard any spoilers, but it makes me wonder if this just never got that kind of attention. And there's plenty of shows that are fantastic that never got that kind of attention, like Glitch Techs. Still sour about that. but hopefully this ends up living up to that kind of level, being that kind of quality. That's what I'm hoping for. Or even if it's something just like a more casually fun time, it's like I'm cool with that too. I don't know if there's any music in this. Also, that's something I just never heard about at all. But I have no problem if there is. Like the characters singing, like actual musical moments and all. I don't know. I do know that there's 3 seasons. The 3rd season is currently going. And it's like almost all the way through, but not quite at the end yet. There's a couple more episodes, but Disney hiatuses and everything. But we'll just go from the start here and see what it's like. But yeah, Gloria Sato is definitely the reason I'm excited about this, honestly. Because that video made her just really instantly likable to me. And I don't know how recurring of a character she is in this series. I don't know how constant. We'll see. but I definitely want to know more about her. I definitely want to see more for her. It's like she's kind of the reason that we're checking this out at least so soon. Because if I had not seen that video, the ways we feel anxious, we probably would not be watching this series yet. It would have been backlogged further on my list. So yeah. And just as a clarification, by the way, because question about this was asked in the Discord about another series being on my list for the future. When I say something is put on the list, it means my list of overall things I plan to get to or am currently reacting to. So if something is on the list, that means it's already basically set for me to get to it. That doesn't mean it's coming up right away next. It doesn't mean it's gonna be replacing the next thing that finishes. It just means that it's coming in the future, or sometimes it's already here. But for the stuff that's not here yet, it means it's coming at some point in the future. It just depends usually on like what I'm in the mood to get to at the moment, especially compared to what else I'm reacting to. There's not really an order per se, but I try to just get to what I'm feeling at the moment, you know? Does that make any sense? I hope so. But I wanted to clarify that real quick because there was, like, again, a question about another series in the Discord server and about, like, oh, is that still on your list? Is that still coming? And it's like, yes, it's still on the list. It's still going to be coming, just not right away. The list doesn't mean it's coming right away. The list is big and expansive and it has a bunch of stuff on it. So, just want to clarify that. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited to check this out to see what it's like and hopefully to enjoy it. It's always hard to tell with me, but we'll see. So, let's just get this going and check out these first 2 episodes. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I looked up the voice actor for the dad, and he's been in a bunch of stuff that I've seen, but not really like for any roles that I would specifically recognize his voice for. Yeah, it's just not really like all things I've seen and stuff. Well, not all things, but a lot of things I've seen. But the characters are either usually minor or just characters like I wouldn't really associate and know with the series a lot. So there's that. But yeah. So this was the first 2 episodes, and we're just kind of thrown in. It's another one of those series where we don't really get the explanation for things yet. That's probably going to come later. But from what we can see, it seems that I was correct. The family seems to have come into some level of money, maybe. And they moved to the big city. For some reason, they have a old Southern style like shack house in the city, though. I don't know how that happened. I guess if they have the money, they can put that there. But again, we'll have to see like if and when that's explained. But yeah, pretty interesting so far. We get to meet our characters, we get to see like their personalities and everything, and it's definitely got that kind of fish out of water vibe with them being so different. The father seems more adjusted, but you know, being an adult and having a head to him, he's going to be a lot more adjusted than these kids who are very clearly out of their element. Cricket it seems to be our main character. And he's rambunctious, goofy, and clearly does not understand social cues. He's trying his best, though. He's not a bad kid. He's not like just overly uncontrollable or anything. He's trying to do the right thing. He just doesn't know how. His sister Tilly is a little bit of an instigator, a little bit of a weirdo, and I kind of dig her. She's fun. She has a interesting personality that I don't otherwise know how entirely to explain besides what I just said. And it's going to be really interesting to see her as the series progresses, to see how she reacts to things, what she does. Like, just the way she says certain lines is just funny and a little creepy at times. But yeah, she's pretty interesting. The grandma is also very interesting. She is implied to maybe be a vet, but on top of that, she has a missing leg with a prosthetic in its place. She wields a sword, has a grenade next to her dentures glass. It's like, the fuck is this lady? That's pretty interesting. I definitely want to know more about her. And we get a couple other characters too. We have a friend for the kids, Remy, voiced by Zeno Robinson. Zeno's a great VA, and I didn't even realize that was him, but listening back on it, it's like, oh yeah, I can hear it now. But yeah, he seems to, he looks just like Irwin from Billy and Mandy. He really does. It's like, it's so directly like similar. I wonder if that was inspiration, if they took inspiration from Billy and Mandy for this at all. I don't know, but maybe, because it's such a direct like similarity in appearance. But he seems pretty nice. We also get to meet Gloria Sato, and it's a pretty aggressive first meeting. With all the trouble and all that Cricket is causing with the chickens flying over into the cafe, which apparently is like right next door and everything. Gloria gets angry and confronts the father about it, because, you know, ruining the customers' experience at the cafe, not to mention chickens flying into chicken salad and becoming a cannibal, which that I like that joke. But yeah, the instant I heard her yelling like that, it's like, oh yeah, that's Anna Akana. It's like, that is Sasha for sure. That's the funny thing. I've seen that other video, The Ways We Feel Anxious, so many times. I never put that together. The funny thing is, there's a small, like, tiny little bit from Sasha in there too, with Marcy thinking about how she's lied to her friends and everything. You even hear Sasha like call out "what," like in like shock to hearing that Marcy lied. But it's like, despite that, I never heard Sasha's voice in Gloria there. It just never connected with me. And I guess give credit where it's due to the voice actor for that, to Anna Akana. I feel it's a different character for sure, in terms of what we saw in that video. So I wouldn't have guessed that. And it definitely shows us that that's going to be a very different type of thing going forward. Her anger and everything here and all was probably not going to be the norm for her based on what we saw in that, based on her personality and character from what we saw there. I'm definitely interested to see where her story goes, and I don't know how active she'll be in the story. I don't know like how constant she'll be as a character. Obviously, don't tell me, but I'm definitely interested to see more from her, no matter what. And yeah, so these first two episodes were just we're just that. We're just trying to introduce us to things and get us to see like how this family are adjusting to life in the city. With the first one, with the kids trying to make a good first impression, they make a friend. They do impress at least a couple of other kids while there, and that cause a whole shit ton of chaos, including an actual straight up accident. So that's fun. But the dude seemed okay, and he seemed to be happy about the chicken going to space. Somehow, I still don't know how that happened. Cartoon logic. And then the second one was steak night and everything. It's like them trying to get the steak back. I actually was a little surprised when it's like when the entire thing came up. It's like, oh, we found a suspicious package at the station. It's like, oh, you're actually going for a bomb threat plot line here. That's unexpected. That's okay. And it's like, I get why. It's like, yeah, it would seem like, I guess, a suspicious package on the surface level. Just seeing that left there by a bench unattended, yeah, I mean, that would be a reasonable action to take there. Would they just stop a subway train like in the middle of its run though? That part feels a little weird to me. I feel like it would get to the next station and then stop, and like there would probably still be something coming over the intercom about it, but I feel like they wouldn't just stop in the middle there, like just randomly. Of course, I don't know about subway stuff and like what they would do in the case of a bomb threat, so I don't know. Maybe they would. But yeah, it's like in the end, it's like stakes may be great, but as great as they are, it's like your life's a little more important. Also, I like the entire thing about pointing out that food is more expensive in the city and everything than like where they're from, and it's like, yeah, probably would be. That sounds about right. Everything's probably more expensive there. Also, while I like Tilly based on her personality and the humor with her, her choice in steak doneness is really upsetting. I know she's a kid. She can be taught, but no, sweetie, no. You do not want a steak like really, really well done. No. That ruins the steak. No. You want your steak medium rare, or at the absolute most medium. Anything past that, it's just it's not a steak anymore. It's dead. It's deader than dead. It was already dead, but just no. Gordon Ramsay would be pissed. Oh, I like steak. Okay, so it's like that does genuinely bother me a little bit. It's a cartoon. I know. Don't take this too seriously. But yeah, it was a fun first couple episodes here. It's got good humor. It's really interesting. I've seen obviously this kind of story before. I've seen some of Beverly Hillbillies, not all of it, but some of it. I've seen fish out of water stories before and everything. I mentioned Fresh Prince in the pre-thoughts as an example of something similar too. It's like I've seen this kind of thing plenty of times before. So it's definitely going to rely on its humor, its characters, and just kind of where it takes all of that. So tell me in the comments below, what did you think of these first two episodes of Big City Greens? Let me know. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.